Hello everyone, welcome to my newest presentation of MicroStrategy. This actually is my first presentation of MicroStrategy Desktop, and it is the newest version of MicroStrategy Desktop, version 10.10. We'll get through this pretty quickly. I'm going to try and keep this to 5 minutes. When you first open up MicroStrategy Desktop, what you will see is a library of all of the dossiers that you will have access to. Now, a dossier is formerly known in some area, MicroStrategy world, was a dashboard. But they really wanted to move away from this single concept of a dashboard and look at the idea of telling a story. And if you think about a dossier, when you have a dossier on a specific topic or a specific person, it's a collection of information, maybe from different sources, maybe different ways of looking at it. And that's really what dossier is. It's a collection of information, maybe from different sources. So we will use that vernacular in a dossier, so we don't want to use the term dashboard anymore. We want to use the term dossier. So from this library, I can actually create my own new dossier if I wanted to, or I could use an existing one. For this demonstration, we're actually going to use an existing one. And I'm calling this a walkabout because we're really not going to get too in-depth into any of this. I do want to give you an idea of what the look and feel is of this interface. So starting from the top to the bottom, left to right, this is a typical desktop application, and like many desktop applications, there is a menu system. And so you can come up here and go to File, you can create a new dossier, you can save as, and all kinds of other things. There's an insert, a format, share, view, windows, and help. We won't get too deep, we won't actually get into depth at all in this particular video, we will later. The next level down are a series of icons that allow you to create shortcuts. So if in this first one, as you can see, if I hover over it, it will show undo. If I hover over the next one, it would be redo. And then we can work our way from left to right. And we have a save, we have a refresh, we have an add data. So if you want to add additional data to your dossier, you can do that from here. One of the new terminologies that you will hear when we talk about a dossier is a chapter. And a chapter really should focus kind of on a functional area. Maybe if you're the sales manager, the sales VP of sales for an organization, a chapter might be sales history. Another chapter could be inventory. Another chapter could be open orders. So really you want to kind of keep your chapters focused that way. If you're an executive, if you're the CEO, you may have a chapter on sales, you may have a chapter on production, you may have a chapter on marketing. So depending on your role, your chapter can be whatever you want. The next icon over is pages. So pages are subordinate to chapters, and they really give a little bit more information about the chapter. So going back to my concept of a VP of sales, he may have a chapter on sales history, but a page on sales history by customer, another page by sales history by brand, and then another page by sales history by item. And you could do that and build this however you would like. So that's kind of keeping in that dossier concept. Moving over, this is where you would insert a visualization into your pages. If you wanted to add additional filters for interactivity, you can do that here. You could add text, so if you want to put headers, you could do that with a text box. You could do images, so if you want to add your own company logo, you could do that here. You could add HTML pages. For instance, if you wanted to put the weather channel on here, you could certainly do that. The next two icons really do not pertain to, as far as I know right now, don't pertain to the free version of MicroStrategy Desktop, so we're not going to get into that. But it's really in line with designing for a tablet or a phone. The last icon, the orange icon, that's the presentation mode, and that really gives you the ability to launch these dossiers in a way that gets rid of a lot of the extraneous development panels and allows you to focus just on the data. So going back over to the left, the first function is the ability to turn on and turn off different panels. Well, panels are these vertical sections, And for instance, this is the table of contents panel. The next one is the dataset panel. Well, these buttons here actually allow you to turn those panels on and off so that they're visible or not, which gives you a little bit more real estate to work with. So for instance, while I use galleries over here, I don't need it up all the time. I only need it to pick a visualization once, and then I can actually just turn it off. So I can just turn that off when I need it. If I need it, I just turn it back on. It becomes very efficient use of how to turn those on and off. This section here, as I mentioned earlier, is the table of contents. This is where your chapters would be listed. You can change the name of the chapters, you can change the name of the pages, and you could use this as a fast path to get to a specific chapter or a specific page within a chapter very quickly and easily. The next panel over is the dataset panel. This is where your data will reside, the attributes will reside, where you will pull information to create your reports. For instance, if I want to create a report on customer sales, I can actually just pull customer over, and then I could come down here to sales and pull that over. In the next panel, it's actually 3 tabs, but this panel here are actually drop zones. So notice when I pulled customer over, I pulled it onto the workspace, but I just as easily could have pulled it into here to rows, and I could have pulled sales into the metrics area. The second tab within this panel is the filter. These filters pertain to chapters. And we'll get into that really in depth in a later video. And then the last one is formatting. So if you want to format colors, if you want to format font size and things like that. And this format is dependent on which visualization you use. So if you change it to a graph, then these format options will change. This is your workspace. This is where the meat of all of your information will reside. And then, of course, the last area is your data visualizations. And these are different options you have of ways of presenting your data, whether it's in a grid like that is presented now, or graphically in like a bar chart, or a pie chart, or a map, network diagram. And then lastly, you do have the ability to go out and get custom visualizations from MicroStrategy and place them in the dossier as well. Thank you very much.